Hey, thank you so much for having me here. I don't know if you just saw what just happened, but that was excellent branding and marketing. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, branding and marketing yourself, your practice. What just happened there? We believe that this is a growing movement that can change the face of medicine for our country to give our patients better care and better access, right? And we believe that so much that we're going to put some money into a pool and help students and residents be a part of this movement. Did everybody just see that? That was beautiful, right? I believe in you. I believe in you, the family doctor, and your ability to make this country better for our patients, better for your members, better for your communities. And I know that you have a heart of gold. If you're sitting here on a Sunday morning when the World Cup's about to start, and I don't know if you care about that or not, you've got a heart of gold. You're here for your patients. You want to do right by them. You want to do right by yourself. So my job today is to help you tell your story. I want you to communicate with people, right? And tell them how great you are. And there are some really easy ways for you to do this, okay? Facebook, it's a tool. Instagram, another tool. Your blog, another tool. Google My Business. Search terms, etc. You can grow your practice with some really easy steps. And I call this presentation DPC Hustles Harder. I'm from Detroit, and they say that Detroit hustles harder, right? But in this community, we're like the Detroit of the medicine movement. You know, we're like the underdogs, and we're going to make a roaring, comeback or something like that, and we're going to hustle harder to get there. I have nothing to disclose personally. I am a DPC doctor, so like Vance and Nick, I'm biased, right? And here are some of my learning objectives. Understand brand creation and brand identity. Learn best practices for marketing your practice. Know when to hire people for different tasks related to your branding and marketing. And realize that you are your brand, and you need to work tirelessly to create value for your brand. Okay, and what happens when you're an employed physician? Your name is on the back of an insurance card, right? And your name is on the back of 5,000 insurance cards, and you're somebody's primary care doctor. Not anymore, right? You're going to have to hustle a little bit harder to get those patients. All right, so just to get started, why does your DPC practice exist? Do I have to click the next one for people to enroll? One more? There we go. Okay, we got people saying a few of these, all of the above. Oh man, I love it. 3-day work weeks. Hello. Nobody for that one yet? Okay, that's pretty good. So, there are several reasons why we do this, right? I want to talk about the why behind your DPC practice. What is the purpose of your business, and what needs are you meeting? I don't know why this came up. Okay, has anybody heard of this? The Golden Circle. Raise your hand if you heard of the Golden Circle. There's a great book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And in this book, he talks about communicating why you do what you do and how that resonates with people, right? A lot of people traditionally start from the outside in. You tell people what you do. And in the DPC model, it might be, oh, I'm available for you anytime. You got wholesale meds, at-cost labs, at-cost imaging. We lower the cost of care. Great. That's good. That's how most people do it, and it works somewhat. But not as much as telling people why you do what you do. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe, right? So I've been invited to speak at some pretty high-level events. I've won a few pitch competitions, and I always lead with my why, which is I believe that healthcare should be affordable and accessible for everyone, right? And what I do simply proves that. I lower the cost of care. My office is in Southwest Detroit in a highly underserved neighborhood, in a highly underserved city. I'm accessible to my patients. My patients have my cell phone number. When you lead with your why, it resonates with people. It captures their attention. Your why statement might be similar to this. This is just a little bit. All right, now we're going to transition somewhat, and we're going to talk about mission, vision, and values, right? Somewhere in your business plan, you should have these written down. What's the mission of your business? What's your vision? What are your values? You might value the doctor-patient relationship, integrity, availability, accessibility. Your mission might be to deliver affordable, accessible healthcare in Detroit. At least that's mine. My vision is a world where everyone has access to high-quality primary care services. Right? These can help to clarify what it is you do, why you do it, and these can really resonate with the people that you serve in your community. If you want to take a deeper dive on this, there's an excellent book by Gina Wickman called Traction. I recommend reading it. Now we're going to pivot again. I could literally spend an entire lecture on each of these subjects, but I've intentionally broken it up just to give you a flavor of branding and marketing. I know you guys are physicians and you're great at your work, but sometimes there are some topics in branding and marketing that we should highlight. So let's do a little bit of a branding exercise, and this gets really interactive. I want you to shout out what you feel when you see these different brands. Just do it. What else we got out there? Go. Michael Jordan. I love that one, right? And their entire marketing strategy, there's an excellent book, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. He talks about how he founded his company, why he did it, what it means to him. Their whole marketing strategy is highlighting the accomplishments of successful athletes, right? They talk about Michael Jordan. They talk about the top athletes performing at their best, and those athletes speak for the brand, right? That's how they do it. All right, next one. What do you feel? Wait, what was it? No, that was, if it was funny, I want to hear it. Heartburn. Oh, okay, gotcha. Empty wallet. It's kind of. What's that? Okay, I didn't hear you still. Jittery. Okay, got it. Yeah, and all right, we'll go to the next one. Sleek, innovation, pretty. The Beatles? Is that what somebody? Yeah, Apple Records. There's a lawsuit, right? Apple Records and Apple Computers. There's a big lawsuit around that. Oh, some booze. I love it. Man, that is awesome. Oh, just audible groans. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, just groans and then nothing to say about it at all. Just, oh. All right, that's where we'll leave that one. So what is a brand? That exercise just highlights what a brand is. It's a feeling comprised of perceptions and intuitions about a product, service, or organization. A brand is not a logo, a product, a place, or an identity. Rather, it's the cultural fabric of a business, right? What I'm telling you is that you as a doctor and you as the direct primary care practice that you want to set up, and your patients and their experiences, and the experience of the spouse of a patient, and the experience of a pastor of one of your patients, and on and on and on. That's the cultural fabric of what you do, right? That's your brand. So it's the sum of all of these experiences. And it's not what you say your brand is, it's what they say your brand is, right? It's not what you say, it's what they say. Brand is a set of expectations, memories, stores, and relationships that, taken together, account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another, right? They may have a bad taste in their mouth from a bill they got from a fee-for-service system down the street from you, and that may drive them to you, right? Because they had a bad experience, and you want to elevate their experience, give them the best experience you can in their healthcare system. So this is a branding exercise. Now we're going to pivot again. That was brand. Now we're going to go to branding. And yeah, I'm using another quote. A brand is the sum total of how someone perceives a particular organization, and branding is about shaping that perception, right? So I think you guys understand what a brand is now. We're going to go into how you can shape that brand. And it starts with your name, right? Okay? It starts with your name. So rule number 1, keep it simple. And I'm going to highlight a couple companies that do this really well. My friends, Janelle and Matt, Cardinal Family Medicine, I think they're in Huntington, Indiana. What's the state bird in this state? Cardinal, right? And their website, their name of the company is Cardinal Family Medicine. And their website is cardinalfamilymedicine.com, right? And it says a little bit about how they do or what they do, hassle-free family medicine. Great. Next one, Gold Direct Care. This is a little bit of a play off Jeff Gold's last name. I think he did something earlier in this conference that was notable. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I heard about it. What I love about this, though, it's a super simple name, Gold Direct Care, and he tells you why they do what they do right on the front of their website. We believe, or they're saying, committed to delivering primary care as it was intended. So how do you change that into a why statement? We believe in delivering primary care as it was intended. We believe in delivering primary care as it was intended, right? And then he's telling you remember that mission, vision, values? He's telling you what he values right here. Trust, openness, investing in the doctor-patient relationship, right? When you have that background in your business plan, when you have that foundation, you can pop those things in your website and help to communicate why you're doing what you're doing with your customers. They can be subtle or they can be obvious. You can just say, here's our mission statement. Here's another great one. Holton Direct Care. Remember we're talking about names that don't suck? These are all great names. You know why? Because Vance Lassie is in Holton, Kansas. And what did he call his practice? Holton Direct Care. And he's at holtondirectcare.com, right? It's like having a doctor in the family. Another thing that he's done well is he's claimed his Facebook page, facebook.com/Holton Direct Care, right? Some nice brand synchrony among his website and his Facebook page. Here's another one. I got to meet Ben Aiken. If you haven't met him, he's an awesome guy. He's starting Avenue Health out of Asheville, North Carolina. And this is a nice, clever play on the word avenue. It's memorable. It's like Avenue, the street without the E, Avenue Health. We're here for you, right? Hassle-free care for you, when, where, and how you need it. They also claimed a LinkedIn page, linkedin.com/Avenue Health. They've claimed their Google My Business, right, which is going to help elevate them in search terms. They've claimed their Facebook page, facebook.com/Avenue Health, right? Here's another great one, named after a doctor. You know, his last name is kind of hard to spell, but he had been practicing in his community for 17 years, right? I don't know if you've met Joel Schumacher. Great guy. Instantly, you feel this connection, this bond when you talk with Joel. He's just a great guy. And it shows because he started his practice about 12 months ago, 15 months ago, I think he said, and he's already in the 500 to 600 patient range, right? Because people in his community know who he is, and he has a very strong personal brand. And that's something I'm trying to communicate with you now, is your brand, you are your brand. I'm Paul Thomas, MD, and a lot of people, so I'm Dr. Paul to my close friends and patients, or Dr. Thomas to people who haven't met me yet, but a lot of people call me Dr. Plum, right? Because I'm Plum Health DPC. So what I'm trying to say is that you are your brand, and in the mind of your patient, in the mind of your community, those two things are the same, right? So Schumacher Family Medicine. So I've given you a couple examples. I kind of like a large corporate setting, like with Avenue Health. It's kind of sleek. It's kind of got a little bit of a finesse to it. You've got some practices named after the doctor themselves. And then you've got a location-based practice, right? If you're in, let's say, Ann Arbor, Michigan, maybe you call your practice Arbor Health or something like that. You know, some location or regional tie. What you have to think about is if you want to grow just beyond yourself, maybe don't name your practice Schumacher Family Medicine, right? Or if you want to grow beyond just one town. Maybe don't call it Holton, right? I have a dream of delivering this to a broader community than just in Detroit and just in Wayne County. So I named mine Plum Health so I can grow beyond that, right? So those are the things you want to think about before selecting your name. I just showed that this is how Schumacher Family Medicine looks when it searches, right? Here's another question, and here's a fun one, right? Say you want to call your clinic Apple. Apple something. I like the apple. Apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's healthy. It's round. It fits in your hand. You can take it with you. It's going to resonate with you because maybe you're in Washington State, the Apple State, and you want to pick a name. So which website would you choose? Okay, looking good. A good smattering. I like it. Okay, there is no right answer, right? But one thing you want to think about when you pick that name, right? When you pick that name, can you control the space online so that you can claim, appleclinic.com and then facebook.com/appleclinic and linkedin.com/appleclinic and instagram.com/appleclinic, etc. You want to ensure this brand synchrony so that when your patient searches you or you make a post and they find you, they find your brand and it almost feels seamless, right? So, this is what we've done. I'm Plum Health DPC, the DPC standing for Direct Primary Care, but it's never written out in full. It's always Plum Health DPC. Okay, and we've claimed these Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc. And we do this for a strategic reason that I'm going to talk about next. All right, we're going to pivot now from selecting a name to leveraging some storytelling. Like I said, you're fabulous people. You're family docs. You do great work for your patients and for your community. How can you leverage that story? How can you tell people how great you are without, I think someone in a previous lecture said, coming off as desperate or just not communicating clearly? How can you leverage storytelling? So let me introduce you to my friend Mario. Mario is a great guy, right? And he is on a mission, and he wants to save, I think he said the princess or something like that. Who here knows Mario? He feels kind of small in a big world, and he knows that there's something out there that can help him get there, but he can't really put his finger on what it is. And he knows he can be big and strong and fire-breathing, and that can help him save the princess or reach his ultimate goal, right? This is what he wants to be. This is what the self he imagines for himself, right? So a lot of people make the mistake of selling people your product, and that is not what you sell. You don't sell your product. This is not what your business sells. You don't sell wholesale meds and at-cost labs and 24/7 access. You sell fire-breathing Mario. You sell the awesome person who can do rad stuff, right? And I'm going to take you back to lectures. Remember that lecture with Vance and Nick and Rubicon Consults and that video they made, right? Who's the hero in the story? The patient. The patient is the hero because now she no longer has this thing on her nose. The product empowered that process, but the hero is the patient. I love you guys. You're all awesome. You're not the heroes right now, not in this context. Your patients are the heroes because now they can do rad stuff, right? So how do you discover this rad stuff? And this is a little bit of a process, but number one, take your existing customers and invite them outside of your office. Take them to coffee, neutral. You don't have the power in this relationship, they do. And ask them about your product. Tell them, what does the product mean to you? What was your life like before you had the product? And what's your life like now after the product? And here's the kicker. What did that mean to you, right? And then you can start crafting stories around what this means to your patient, okay? So let's go back to Mario. Hi, I'm Mario, and before I had the power of the flower, I was small. Now I feel like I'm in control of my own destiny, and perhaps I can go off and save the princess. And this is from Nick. I saw this on Facebook when I was putting this presentation together. It's subtle, but it's there. Patient overheard leaving my office today. You make this so easy. Ask yourself the last time you felt like saying that while leaving your doctor's office, right? Here's the patient, they're the hero, and they're saying, this simplifies my life. This isn't a perfect example, but it's pretty close to the truth. How can you leverage the stories of your patients to tell other patients, other customers like them about your product? Okay, we're going to pivot again. Now that you have that story, how do you get it out to the world? There's a simple formula in marketing, and that's M times M equals R. Message times medium equals your results. And we all know the big one, right? Traditional media, the 9 o'clock news, the 11 o'clock news, whatever it is, and that can be huge. Who here has a DPC practice? Who here has been featured on the nightly news in their small town? Okay, tell me, what did that do for your practice? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up, some huge thumbs up, right? I'll tell you my story. Steve Garagiola, I met him in an event. I was speaking through a business course that I had taken, a small business course that was 8 weeks, and he was so curious about what I did. And I said, oh, my practice is just two blocks over. Why don't you come by? He did the most phenomenal job about my practice I've ever seen, storytelling about what direct primary care is. And he interviewed one of my patients, and he had her tell the audience why I do what I do is so important. She had said, I pay my membership, and I came in here for a shot of Toradol because I was having serious back pain, and Dr. Paul charged me $2.30, right? Because that's how much the medication costs. So that storytelling was a part of it. They had me on camera for a little bit of the time as well, talking about my medications and labs, etc. This is weekly traffic on our website, right? 300 page views consistently. That's pretty good. What is that like? 40, 50 page views a day, unique visitors. Then Mr. Steve Garagiola comes with Channel 4 News, and we get 1,791 views in the span of a week. It's incredible, right? That's message times medium equals results. And this is a longer view. So this is the entire lifetime of my business up until this point. And you can see where that huge spike came. In November, I did a TED Talk. Sure, I had a little bit of a spike there. I've had a little bit of stuff like in Inc.com or in Business Insider where my name's mentioned. That has pushed me up. In January and March, I wrote some letters to the editor of my local paper, etc. There's tons of ways you can generate traffic and buzz about your business, but by far, being featured in some sort of traditional media outlet can be a big boost. And so, over the lifetime of my business, the majority of my people are coming directly to my website. This is some analytics tool from Squarespace. Who here uses Squarespace for the website? There's a ton of other products out there. I like Squarespace because they give me some feedback on where my visitors are coming from. So direct traffic, that's people hearing about plumhealthdpc.com and typing that entire thing into the web browser and then going to my site. That's why I say keep it simple. Don't use an SAT word for your brand name. You know what I'm talking about? The long ones that are difficult to pronounce and spell. Because how can your patient tell their best friend about your service if they can't pronounce your name, right? How can your patient find you online if they can't spell it, right? Make it easy, make it memorable, keep it simple. Here's another question for you. What does SEO stand for? Should have entered orthopedics. Serious Ebola outbreak. Send emojis over, or search engine optimization. Okay, awesome. We're running up the score here. Oh, boy. Vance. All right, SEO, search engine optimization. You guys got it. You know what you're talking about. This is over the last 6 months of my business. I've really worked on search engine optimization to grow the traffic to my website organically. Because here's the thing. People are searching on Google every day, every minute, every second of the day, and they're searching for doctor in my community, doctor near me, doctor in my town, family doctor, and then the name of your city. Family medicine physician, best family medicine, etc. Those are what people are searching for. So if you understand that and you create content around that, you can elevate your search engine optimization and therefore increase the amount of traffic to your website. And these are free tools. You don't really have to pay anything for them. So here's the search results for my business, I think, over the last 6 months. And what's at the top there? Google. So how do you get good at understanding how the Google algorithm works? So if you Google best primary care doctor Detroit, and I'm sorry for doing this, but I'm tooting my own horn here, we come up at the top, Plum Health DPC, and this was a few months ago when we only had 32 reviews, right? So here's some strategies. Really easily, ask your customers who've had a great experience to leave you a review because it's going to elevate your search engine optimization. So a lot of times I text people 3-4 days after they come in, hey, how are you feeling after that sore throat? Did the antibiotic help? Or how's your knee after we gave that injection? Are you having less pain? And then somebody might text me back, man, you're the first doctor who's ever sent me a follow-up text message, right? And then I respond to them, thank you so much. It's a pleasure taking care of you. But if you can leave that as a review on Google or on Facebook, it really goes a long way, right? Then your patients become your best advertisers because they're telling people about their experiences in your clinic. And you can do something, you can create a new incognito window, and then you can search so you get some unbiased results. So best primary care physician Detroit. And if you're searching in Detroit, this is what you might find, right? So I want to help you elevate your search engine optimization results, so your search results, frankly. So one way you can do that is if you search Plum Health DPC, you'll see our web information on the left-hand side, some links you can click, and then on the right-hand side, this box. Does anybody know what this box is on the right-hand side? Yeah, Google My Business. You got it, right? So if you own a business, you can claim your Google My Business, and you should claim. Like, if you haven't claimed your Google My Business, as soon as this lecture is over, that's exactly what you should do, because it's going to elevate you. It's going to make you easier to find. People can click on my address and get directions to my office. People can click on my phone number and call me directly from this. It also highlights my reviews. And if you can see at the bottom, it pulls in reviews from Facebook and health grades, etc. So if somebody searches for you and finds you, they already have a really positive impression of you and your business, right? Right off the bat. And they're like, wow, this must be a great service. Let me give them a call. Let me try this. So within Google My Business, you can respond to people who review you. So when people leave you a review, respond to them. Say, thank you so much. It shows that you're engaged. It shows that you actually care. It shows that you want to be there for your patients and you want to respond to them. You can create posts. So, my latest post at this point was, hey, we were featured on a podcast. Let me put this up there. And then it gives you a report every month. So this was for the month of April. So 59 people asked for directions, 16 people called you right from the website. Now there's other strategies to elevate your search engine optimization. So you can buy your way in, Google AdWords. And this is from Colin Stewart, used with his permission. But he's basically saying how much you can spend to hold this AdWord and how many results. And he says basically it's $111 that I have to spend per patient enrollment. So, there's pros and cons. You can be at the top because you bought that place, but a lot of people overlook these things because it's a paid advertisement. They want something that's organic. All right, here's your next question. After Google, which is the largest search engine? Oh man, we got some smart people in the audience here. All right, so a lot of you correctly identified Facebook as the second largest search engine. You don't think of it as a search engine, but it is. Then the third largest is Amazon.com. And the fourth largest is YouTube.com, right? So what does that mean for you, and what does that mean for your business? And how can you use that knowledge to generate more people, increase your optimization, etc.? So one thing you can do is create YouTube videos. And this is not that complicated. Download the YouTube app on your phone, stand in front of the camera, have your medical assistant shoot a video of you, and just say, "Hi, my name is Dr. Paul Thomas. I'm a family medicine doctor in Detroit, Michigan, and I'm accepting new patients. We use a different model of care. We're called Plum Health DPC. The DPC stands for Direct Primary Care. And that means people pay a monthly membership." That's all that video says. It's 47 seconds. And then in the description, I literally write what I just said in the video, and those are all search terms that Google looks at because Google owns YouTube, right? So they want to amplify YouTube's reach, and it's going to help you reach more customers, right? And also, people enjoy engaging with video content. So once you have that video, you can post it to Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or your Facebook page, right? And then it becomes this virtuous cycle of creating content and then sharing it across your platforms, reaching more customers, and having them come back to your webpage where they can sign up. So also, if you don't have a sign-up link on your website, you should. All right, here's the next biggest search engine, which is Facebook. And I don't know if you saw on this one, but I searched for, my search term on YouTube was Family Medicine Detroit, and the top 3 videos are mine. And this really takes no time at all. In like a week, you can own the top videos for your space. All right, and the next one, Family Medicine Detroit again. And again, we're fortunate to hold this top spot because in our name we say Plum Health DPC, Detroit, Michigan, Family Medicine Practice. It takes a few minutes to go in here and claim these search terms and claim these profiles and set these up, but it's worth the effort because it's going to drive patients to your practice. So getting to the top of Google search, an epic poem. One tool that's free, you go over to moz.com, M-O-Z.com, and you search for your own business, and it will pop up with this report. You don't need to buy products from moz.com. You can just do it as a cursory check. And of course, they're going to rate you a little bit lower than you actually are, so you buy their products. You don't need to buy their products, okay? What you do need to do is you need to look at the bottom here. See how it says 54% complete, 31% incomplete, no inconsistencies, no duplicates? That's what you want to see. And it will show you, okay, on Google, you're 100%. On Facebook, you're 100%. On Yelp and Yellow Pages, you're pretty high as well. You can claim some other things like Foursquare or Hot Frog or whatever it is to elevate this score. But this is your local score, your local search score. And there's something called nap. Okay, who here wants to take a nap? Yeah, it's Sunday. It's been a long weekend. But the nap I'm talking about stands for name, address, phone number. Okay? And you want your name, your address, and phone number to be the same across all of your platforms. Okay? Our name is Plum Health DPC. We're always Plum Health DPC. We are not Plum Health Direct Primary Care. We're not Plum Health Direct Primary Care. We're Plum Health DPC. So on everywhere you look, that's what we are. Our address is 1759 21st ST. We're not 21st Street, okay? Because that's going to confuse Google and lower your search results. One of the biggest problems I see is that you're at, Apple Street in one page, and then you're at Apple ST on another page. And it's going to confuse Google, and Google does not like to be confused, and it's going to lower your search results, okay? So check out your Moz score. Make sure you don't have any inconsistencies. All right, we're going to pivot again. And I kind of mentioned creating content, but in terms of marketing your practice, creating content is the best thing you can do. And here's a little tip, pro tip. Document, don't create. So y'all are at one of the biggest DPC conferences in the United States among DPC colleagues, learning best practices for your practice. So what you should do is you should go out in the hallway and take a photo in front of one of the things that says AAFP DPC Summit and take a photo of you pointing at it and smiling really big, and then post it on your Facebook page, then post it on your branded DPC page, and say, I'm with my colleagues learning best practices so that I can take better care of my patients. It's as simple as that. And the more you do that, it becomes this virtuous cycle where you speak at something in front of a Rotary Club, have somebody videotape it from the back or take a photo from the back and post that and say, I had this wonderful experience of teaching people about our model of care, and we're trying to lower the cost of care in our community, and this is just one way that we do it. So document all those events, all those speaking engagements. Just take a quick photo and put it onto your website. If you're really good at this, you can create a blog content. So you can already see what I'm doing here. Why it's important to have a family medicine doctor in Detroit. That's the title of my page. So if somebody's searching on Google, family medicine doctor in Detroit, they might find this blog post, right? And then using that same thinking, you can look at the bottom. So if you use a search term, say you're in, Naples, Florida, family doctor, Naples, Florida, then go down to the bottom and see the related search terms and then create a blog post about each one of these search terms. It's a little bit sneaky, a little bit tricky, but it's an algorithm and it's trying to recognize things that other people are searching for. And you can do this every week and really boost where you fall in these algorithms. Okay, so I'm just showing you that our search by and far is the most powerful thing to get people to our website over the last 6 months. People then type in our name. They then are referred from social, our social media channels, and then from other things. Like I mentioned, we're in Business Insider. We were in Crane's Detroit Business. Wrote a blog post for Hint Health, et cetera. Those things help to give you legitimacy in the eyes of Google, because when you're mentioned in other places, it makes you look more legitimate. So if you want to do a guest blog for somebody else, or you want to write an editorial in the paper or an opinion piece, et cetera, these are the things that can help you get more referrals back to your site. So I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but this is important. You want to share these things with the world. So which social media platforms are you the most comfortable with? Okay, that's great. You all are really comfortable with Facebook. All right, stand up for me if you own a DPC practice. It's a little bit of an exercise. I'm trying to get you guys involved here. Great. Awesome. How many of you have a personal Facebook page? Stay standing. Sit down if you don't have a personal Facebook page. Okay. How many of you have a photo of yourself in a white coat as your profile picture? Don't own a white coat. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is that it can be very powerful. You guys can sit down now. Thank you. It can be very powerful for your friends, your family, your neighbors, your community to see a doctor in a white coat owning their space online, right? So I'm going to tell you something that might be a little hard to take, but Facebook is not, when you own a business, Facebook is not a platform for you to connect with friends and family. It's a marketing tool. It's a business tool. And you can really share content about what you're doing in a way that's genuine and authentic and engaging your community. And you can use that as a tool. I see a lot of people shying away from expanding their network, expanding their circle of friends on these social media platforms, especially on Facebook, like having a, let's say, too many friends. It might feel intrusive. What you can do is maybe create a private personal page and have a second personal page that's open for everyone. Because like I'm trying to communicate to you, you are your brand, and your brand is you, and those two things are inseparable. And you can really leverage these platforms to reach more and greater audience. So let's say you're completely full. Maybe you don't need to do that. But if you're struggling to get new members, I want to kind of take you by the shoulders and shake you and say, start using your personal pages. Tell people what you're doing. Tell people what you believe. I believe in affordable care for my community, and that's why I'm doing this. Post that on your page and see the kind of response that you get. People are going to talk about the doctor that's doing something genuine, that's doing something authentic in their community. All right, so these are referrals from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I'm going to take a minute to talk about LinkedIn here. A lot of C-suite type of people are on LinkedIn. So if you're consistently posting work that's appropriate for LinkedIn, you're going to reach some C-suite people. And to tie in the last lecture, if you're trying to grow your presence among businesses and small businesses and brokers, etc., they're all on LinkedIn. And you can generate a ton of traffic, engagement on LinkedIn if you do it well, right? You can even create your own story. So sometimes I'll write a blog post, put it on my page, share it across my channels. I'll copy and paste that same blog post and create a special like LinkedIn post, right? You can use these things to leverage these platforms and get more customers and get more people to understand what you're doing. Because face it, like 90% of your work is educating your community on what it is you do as a physician. And these tools can be real shortcuts to making that happen. So like this is a LinkedIn post, 203 likes, 69 comments. It reached 11,000 people. Okay, it was a pretty popular post. This is probably one of my most popular posts. But this is the power that LinkedIn can have. If you leverage this tool, you can reach a ton of people. Next up, I'm going to talk about Instagram. The thing about Instagram is, just like on Facebook, you can run ads on it, and you can use that circle to target. Who here has run an advertisement on Facebook? Awesome. And you know that you can select an age range, let's say 30 to 60, years old, your prime audience, or maybe if you're a female physician, you select female people to reach out to. Maybe if you're a male doctor, you reach out to male patients, etc. You can do the same thing on Instagram and really create brand awareness. What you can't do yet is have a nice link that will backlink to your website. That's why a lot of people on Instagram post link in bio, so that you have to go back to your bio and then click on your link to get back to your website. But Instagram is a great tool, and Instagram has the highest engagement rate. So if you're posting content, I posted this up here because I posted the same thing on Facebook on my business page, and I got maybe like 50 likes and engagements, and then on Instagram it's double that, right? So you can leverage these different tools to reach a different audience, and this is going to be a younger demographic. So if you want to have people in the pipeline who are aware, who have some brand awareness about what you do, this is a good place for you to be as well. All right, so a lot of these tools you can do yourself. Like everybody knows how to use Facebook. Using Facebook Business isn't that great of a leap. Using LinkedIn, similar. Claim your LinkedIn for Business, upload your logo so it looks legitimate, like, okay, I work at Plum Health, and Plum Health has a logo, right? Tell people where you work on LinkedIn. These aren't that difficult to leverage. I've got a young lady here walking through some foothills. This is kind of manageable for the average doctor, right? You're smart, you're compassionate, you know how to use these tools, and you can use them really well. Twitter, another one that's really easy. Instagram, another one that's pretty easy to use as well, and it's all visual content. Where you might, in terms of your branding and marketing approach, if you're really struggling to get patients, you might have to reach out for outside help. So, maybe the same young lady, now she's trying to summit a peak and really grow and get to the top. Maybe you reach out to a PR person, or maybe your website, you get consistent feedback that people have a hard time using your website, or the cookies don't work, or whatever. Maybe you hire a web designer to give you a refresh. Or maybe your logo or your brand needs to be refreshed as well. You can hire an outside consultant to help you freshen that up or redesign things. So what can be really powerful is, let's say, reaching out to a PR person, and sometimes it can be a few $100 or $1,000 a month to help you get that traditional media coverage so you can really get out there. Or networking with other professionals who can help you get there as well. All right, so that's the essence of my talk. Knowing what your brand is, picking a name that works well for you, understanding ways that you can market your practice that virtually cost nothing, unless you're boosting some posts here and there, and really reaching your audience. Because remember, you're great. You're a wonderful physician. You do great work for your patients and for your community. You just have to know how to tell that story and know where to tell that story. So thank you so much for your time and attention.
Just hit the X and they'll drop off.
Okay. Okay, any advice for introverts to become more comfortable with an elevator pitch or presentation, etc.? You have to do it. And part of, when you're first starting out, let's say you're first starting out, I'm assuming this person is first starting out, practice with your friends and family. You know, we're called Plum Health, and we believe this, and this is how we're going to live out what we believe. How does that sound to you? And ask them for some earnest feedback. And then the next time you're in line at the grocery store, strike up a conversation. Tell the person at the grocery store who you'll never see again, tell them, hey, my name's Dr. Paul, and I'm trying to start this thing called Plum Health, and it's this. Would you use this service? And they might say, well, I don't really understand it, you know, or it doesn't really resonate with me. They might not say resonate, but you get the idea. Just get out there in the community, pitch to people who you see on the street or at the grocery store, who are at the gym working out. Tell people your story and see how they feel. That's my best advice. You just got to get out there and do it and talk with folks. And eventually you'll hone your pitch, and it will be a powerful thing for you. All right, we have a question here.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for your talk, Dr. Paul.
Thank you.
So I want to share one little story that I think might be helpful, because I know we have a huge contingent of people here who have not yet started. And this kind of answers a couple of questions. What do I do, if I'm not really comfortable on Facebook? And also, how do I transition a lot of patients from my previous practice to my current practice? So about 2 years before I left my practice, I happened to start a Facebook page called Dr. Eleanor Glass. And the real reason for this was because I always kept forgetting to grab papers off the printer to give to my patients, like recipes and other, sources of advice. So I started a Facebook page, and I would just post those things on Facebook, and then I could just tell patients, hey, it's on my Facebook page. Facebook is an equal opportunity access point. Your poorest patients all have access, for the most part, to Facebook. Well, that turned out to be very useful, because then when I started thinking about leaving the practice and start worrying about non-competes, I was able to start posting on that Dr. Eleanor Glass Facebook page, hey, have you heard of this thing called direct primary care? By the time I left my practice, I had 250, 300 followers on Facebook, and that provided a wonderful transition. So I just wanted to share that, especially for people for whom they actually maybe not be comfortable with Facebook. At that point, I had also transitioned my personal Facebook page to Ellie Belly. If you see me on the DPC Docs, etc., I'm Ellie Belly. And that way I feel very safe posting things on Dr. Eleanor Glass, and my Ellie Belly is where I, look at my friends' cute baby pictures and baby elephants.
Perfect example of, and I love that story. You see what she did there? There's something in marketing called give to get, right? You want to give people advice. You want to help them out. You want to be authentic. That's so authentic. I kept leaving papers on the printer. I wanted to share recipes. I wanted to help people be healthier. That's genuine. I think we all have that. And sometimes we get tired of explaining about how to lower your cholesterol over and over again. So it can be a powerful platform to share at one time and get people to engage in it. And then people will have questions. You answer those questions. It all is this virtuous cycle of getting people engaged with you as a person and then later as a brand. Got another one?
So I have a unique situation and sort of a reverse question. And really my question is, how do I make all of that go away? Because I've just recently transitioned into direct primary care, and I've done all of these previous things, I think, quite successfully for my previous practice. I was in there there was a group of us partners, and I did most all of our online stuff, because my partners are older guys. They can't even check email. So I did all of these things and did really well for our practice. In that in our community, if you search, the best doctor or this, our practice shows up. And now that I've transitioned out of that practice and into direct primary care, all of those searches still show up me at the old place. So
you did too good of a job.
I really did. I mean, you look in our search in the first page of Google, we're coming up, and then you'll see these other ones there. They're the big hospital systems that are spending a bunch of money to get on the first page of Google. We spent nothing. I just learned it and did really, really well. And now how do I make it go away?
Okay. So that's awesome that you already leverage that. So you already know what to do. And the advice that I give you is it's just going to take time because Google likes to see things that are timely, recent, relevant to the searches, right? So as that content that you put off there gets older and older and older and more stale, and you keep generating new content that's relevant to the searches that you're getting, you're going to generate more traffic to your new practice. And it might be a couple months. It might be 6 months, right? So I'm sorry, man. It's awesome, but it's also a tough one. Also, one thing I want to mention, it left me. Sorry. What was your worst idea? Oh, geez. God. What was my worst idea? I don't know. Just in general, you want to avoid being too salesy. You don't want every post to be like selling people your product. You want to do what Ellie's doing, which is offering advice, sharing some recipes. Then you can tell people about your product. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've read Gary Vaynerchuk. He wrote a book called Crush It. He also wrote a book called Jab, Jab, Right Hook. Right? The jab, jab is like sharing, good content, helping people out. The right hook is saying, if you love what you do, come on in and be a part of our practice. So it can come off as inauthentic or not genuine if you're just selling all the time. Do we have to always put LLC everywhere we put our name? No. You should have it at the bottom of your website, Plum Health PLLC, because that's what we are. But everywhere else, you're doing business as whatever your name is. What is the time commitment for you to keep up with your social media networking? Okay, that's a very good question because, you're a doctor, you want to see patients. I actually really enjoy this part of this. So it takes me about 2 to 3 hours to do something weekly, and I try to do something every week. So it takes me, an experience. So from here, can somebody take a picture of me on stage? That'd be great. And then text it to me. Yeah, so I'll take that photo, I'll put it onto my blog, I'll write a blurb, Plum Health or Dr. Paul Thomas at the AAFP Summit, and I'll say something like, I had a great experience speaking at the direct primary care thing. And that blog post takes 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then I take that blog link and I share it on my Facebook site, LinkedIn. If there's video content, I'll put it on YouTube. I'll put it on Twitter, etc. So that takes about 15, 20 minutes because I do each of those individually to make sure they're optimized for each source. So on Twitter, you want to make sure your tags are right. You want to make sure the @ links are correct. On Facebook, the same thing. So right there, you're at about 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And then I spend an hour after that engaging with people who are engaging with my content. So people will say, oh, that's so awesome. And I'll say, thank you so much, right? Because you want people to feel like you're engaging with them, right? And that can drive engagement with your personal business. So I do one blog post a week, and then I share it across my social media channels. It's very manageable, about 3 hours a week. What percentage of overhead would you recommend for marketing? And that really just depends. I'm tech savvy, I'm young, I know what I'm doing online. I spend maybe $100 a week on boosting Facebook posts. And that's all I've done for the lifetime of my business, and I've grown to a level that I'm really comfortable with. But if you're out there and you're, personally I enroll 27 new patients a month, okay? And a lot of that's from our traffic online. If you're out there and you're enrolling 5, 10 patients a month and you're not comfortable with that, you need to take a hard look at what you're doing. And it's not about how much you're spending, it's about the results you're getting, right? So if you're spending $100 on Facebook and you're getting 30 new signups every month, that's perfect. You don't really have to change that. So it's not really a percentage of your budget, it's just how can you smartly spend your money to gain. One more question. Okay. Negative reviews. Best to address the issue, then avoid or delete. It shows your responsiveness as a company. Yes, I agree. So somebody says, oh, you're horrible. I really hated your service. you can respond there and say, I'm really sorry you feel that way, and if you want to come back and give us another shot, I'd love to take care of you. If not, I'm really sorry we let you down. Right? It's genuine, it's authentic, it shows that you care, and it's going to happen. You know, it's going to happen to all of us in this room. Somebody's not going to like it, and it's going to be more about their bad day than your bad service, unless you're really rude to them or whatever. But don't let it get to you. You know, that's why it's important to reach out to people actively as they have great experiences, because people who have great experiences aren't going to be as mad or as motivated to post negative things. So if somebody tells you in person or via text or via email that they just had a phenomenal experience, let them know that it goes a long way if you post it online. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.